Привет! Меня зовут Асиби, и сегодня я хочу поговорить о работе над фильмом «Операция Ы». Hey, по-английски, по-английски! Oh, okay, по-английски? Fine. Hello all, I'm SEB, and today it's the Participation Awards for the Russian film Operation Y. Many movies from Mosfilm are online, though they are in Russian. As far as subtitles in other languages, this varies. But no worries. There's not a lot of speaking, so Participation Award for that. In general, even if you don't know Russian, you can kind of guess what's going on. Much of the humor is slapstick, but there are some jokes in the dialogue I'll try to point out. The full title in Russian is Операция Ы и другие приключения Шурика. I can never say that. And Wikipedia translate this as Operation Y and Shurik's Other Adventures. It's a 1965 comedy film directed by Leonid Godai from Mosfilm and is divided into 3 stories that are 30 minutes each for a total of about 30 minutes. Unlike Blood Feast, this is at least a little friggin' faster. Also, much like the BBC, often using the same pool of actors, we see this in Russian cinema. The actor playing Shurik, Alexander Sergeyevich Demyanenko, this guy is in a lot of Russian movies. Participation Award for copying the BBC in this fashion, I guess. Respecting copyright between certain countries during the Cold War era is a video that someone else can make. Let's start with section 1, partner, or napartnik. The music before it starts is different. If you're familiar with the short toot, whistle, plunk, and a boom by the Corporate Mouse Overlord Company, it's like that. It starts with some of the issues that come up when using public transportation. For example, if someone is pregnant, elderly, or infirm, the general consensus is to give up your seat. In this case, we have Drunky McDrunkerson that ends up causing a kerfuffle, resulting in him having to complete community service. When they line up for jobs, no one willingly volunteers until the option to work at a meat packing plant comes up. Remember, this is 1965 and it's Soviet Russia. The joke in the dialogue is that the drunk guy asks if there is a winery he can work at. Participation Award for that joke. As the guy arrives at the work site, we find out how the story brings in Shurik and that OSHA and safety regulations are somehow below that of Willy Wonka's factory. Clearly, this guy wants out of work and even tries to pull a cask of Amontillado on Shurik, who is comically not trapped. Participation Award for reference to Edgar Allan Poe. When there is a break for lunch, the drunky crow guy is given beef kebabs. For Americans, not a big deal. When I lived in Russia, beef was hella expensive, and having kebabs for a meal like that was a huge treat. Shurik is a student that works in construction part-time, so he's eating bread and eating what I hope is fresh milk? Unless he bought it. That can't be fresh, right? The guy talks to Shurik and points out, "He who doesn't work eats well. Learn from me, student." Then promptly pours out enough of his drink to offset it with vodka. Now the tension between these two rises and the real shenanigans start. However, some of this hasn't aged well, like the part where he wears a grass skirt and runs through a fire to get covered in soot. Remember, this is 1965 and it is Soviet Russia. I won't show it because I'm pretty sure the YouTube overlords will flag it, but I at least want to point it out, so if you choose to watch it, you know. What I do like is that even though Potato Face might seem like he gets out of work or punishment, in the end, he does shape up. Oh, and he's 41, married with 2 kids. Tell me that Shurik couldn't also pass for a 40-year-old, considering he would have been just about 30 when this was filmed. So, Participation Award for the guy having learned a lesson, though I'd like to think the real moral of Napartnik is that Russian students have nothing to lose. Speaking of university, we reach part 2, Navajdenil, which I have seen translated as everything from Strange Impressions, Deja Vu, or Obsessed. It is finals time at the university where Shurik attends. Little background for those unfamiliar, when I had finals at the State University in St. Petersburg, or Sankt Petersburgsky Gosударственный Universitet, we were given a list of possible questions. On the day of the exam, you don't know which one you'll get, so it's in your best interest to study all of them. Or you can take your chance and hope you only get certain ones. Depending on the topic, it might be an oral exam, or you might have to fill out one of those blue book things. By the end, you are given a ranking of 1 through 5. 1 is the worst. I'm not exaggerating when I say, holy bananas. It's difficult, so when it shows how intensely everyone is studying, that brought back memories. Participation award for truly capturing the spirit of finals. So when all the students are asking what their score is and they say Chitiri 4, Piat 5, that's why. Also, participation award for the student that tries to use the radio because the professor has obviously seen this before. But back to Shurik and fellow female student, the joke in this section is that they are so focused on studying that they walk around town, eat, drink, remove layers when it gets hot, all being completely unaware of their surroundings. When they go to her apartment, they manage to evade the dog the first time around, but after finals, when the fog has lifted, they have to figure out a way around it. Also, the names they use when referring to the dog also haven't aged well, but if you want to know what those are, feel free to learn Russian. They get to the apartment and dun dun dun! It's like he's been here before. They discuss whether or not he's psychic, but by the end, it doesn't matter, and they're happy together. The scene is just sort of goofy and awkward, but anyways. On to section 3, and you'll never guess what it's called. Operation Y. Why, you ask? So nobody would guess why. Okay, sometimes humor doesn't translate. It starts at the open air market type thing. Also, during my time in Russia, I'm a nerd, so I went to every castle, museum, and landmark possible. Sometimes I'd latch on to a tour group because I'm cheap and no one asks questions. When going through the Winter Palace, sometimes someone would ask if a painting was the original, and the response, I kid you not, was that it was an original copy. So a copy. I would also advise not to argue with them on that because it may end in little elderly ladies yelling, "Nyet, nyet, nyet," and pushing you out. They may be short, but they're tough, dude. Meanwhile, back in our movie, I always find it funny when a bunch of people pile into a car. So participation award for a clown car. Also, this group of criminals has a book on hand and they go through identifying how many years in prison certain crimes will get you, because everyone just keeps those on hand for some reason. They bargain to get 330 rubles each, or roughly $30 at that time. Remember, it is Russia, and it was made in 1965. There isn't a whole lot really in this last one. I will point out that Shurik has to get a coin so he can go 2 blocks away to call the police, minus an award for inefficiency, although it is a little hilarious that the little old lady is the one that takes them to the cops. So, participation award for the elderly saving the day. Overall, still an enjoyable movie even if you don't know Russian. It's not perfect, and there are a couple of parts that are a bit iffy. But when movies are from 1965, that's to be expected. There's enough of this film without dialogue, you can still enjoy it. The results of the participation awards are shown here. Still no idea what they stand for, but here they are. Thanks so much for making it this far. Feel free to like, subscribe, and all that jazz. Until next time, toodles! Navidu, zashalenyu, den rajdenia, dokaraz gadu. Oh, we're done?